Right, welcome back guys, 41 years.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you.
So, how's it been?
Yeah, great.
What's your experience? What's it been like catching up with these guys after so long of not seeing them? What's the experience like?
It was really good. It's a bit moving actually.
Down at the dairy or the piggery and things like that, tell us the story. That what's something that came back to you when you went wandering down
The
there?
first thing that come back to me, and always does when I think about that dairy down there, when brother Reg Hamilton wasn't there, and he might have been down doing the Melbourne show, and we had to look after the dairy, which we all called him, and myself and Brian Maloney there, and a few of us on the dairy, we used to push the cows out pretty quick, so the quota of the milk wasn't enough, so what we used to do, get the fire hose and put it in the vat to bring the quota up, and I'd never forget that.
Benny, just want to talk to you about the Alcoa building. Can you tell us a bit about the story about how that got to be where it is today here at Salesian College?
It was pulled down in Sunbury itself. We pulled it down in the town and it was transported out here on the back of the college tractor with a trailer.
Right.
We had to put scaffolding on the trailer to pick it up another 2 metres to cart it out here. And when we were carting it out here, we had to lift it through we couldn't get it into the creek, so we had to take it off the trailer and carry it through the creek and load it on the trailer the opposite side.
Right. So it was part of the Aggie program, was it?
That was one of the things we built when we were here.
Okay.
So yeah, it was a good job, and we put it, and then we assembled it. We assembled it all here on site.
How long did it take? Because you didn't get it complete.
We didn't get it complete when we left. We built it. It was down in '74, and we were still going in '75.
Okay.
So it was just nearly complete.
And what was the activities that went on in that Alcoa building? What was it meant for?
It was going to be the agriculture training room.
Okay.
That was the plan, but what happened to it after '74 when I left, I don't know. But the original plan, it was going to be the agriculture training room.
Okay. And what have you found here? You found a yearbook, have you?
We found a yearbook of '74, and that's how it was built.
Wow.
That's
Fantastic.
how we climbed up the side. No, so we didn't have OH and S then. It didn't matter how we went up. We just all climbed up on side.
Look at it, yeah.
And put it all together.
Okay. So going back and seeing that building there now, does that bring back those memories?
It does. Yeah, it does. It goes back, put it together like that. Yes, it does.
Yeah. Great. Thanks, Bernie. Thanks for sharing that story.
Right.
Okay, so guys, welcome back. 41 years, the 1974 Aggie Group. So tell us some of the stories that walking down memory lane down towards the dairy and the piggery and even the Alcoa building. Tell us some of the stories that you can remember.
I guess the biggest story really for us, all of us, everyone shared a common theme, and that was in the morning after you finished milking the cows, we'd have breakfast, and breakfast used to include bacon and eggs, and every now and then, like once a week, the sheep that we'd slaughtered earlier in the week, we'd have to eat all of it, so the brains were in the dairy, and brother Hamilton used to encourage us all to eat brains before we could eat our bacon and eggs. So Harris will tell you his story, and then Gerald will tell you his. Can
you eat brains now?
I've never eaten them.
No, right. So what did you do with them?
I had to wait until he turned around and I put them on brother Hamilton's plate. Oh! that was my tactic. What was yours, Harris?
Oh, I just had to eat them because everyone that was working there at the time that I was on roster with, they knew I'd eat them. I was the mug, you see, so Brother Hamilton would turn his back and all of a sudden all the brains would get shoveled onto my plate, and then he'd turn around and say, "Oh, boys, well done. You're a slow eater there, Harris."
So what did you do with yours, Gerald?
No, I ate them. I didn't mind them actually. Yeah.
So we're talking about brains.
Sheep's brains.
Sheep's brains. Yeah.
Sheep's
Crumbs.
sheep's brains.
Brother Hamilton would get the axe, kill the sheep and cut it up, but the head would come back to the dairy outside the milk room, and he'd get the axe and cut the head in two and get the brains out, and then he'd crumble it, put it all in breadcrumbs and on the frying pan.
Right.
But the brains weren't too bad, and the eggs and the bacon, but yeah, every now and then there'd be a fly or two on there as well. So that's part of it.
Call that added protein though. They call that value adding these days.
Exactly.
But the toast was about an inch thick, and I mean he piled the butter on everything, and the whole point was he'd feed you up, but you couldn't leave until you finished. So if you were the last one sort of going like this and oh my God, this is going to, and he'd be still there waiting for you to finish.
And everyone had to wait.
Yep.
Everyone had to wait, and that's why Harris volunteered to eat the brains.
Yes, because I'd scoff them down.
Yeah, because no one else was going to eat them.
But one of the worst parts was, though, apart from that, was in the ref when the last table to finish had to do the mopping up. Remember that? He had to mop all the floor that night.
Yeah.
Oh, I was always up the front. So.
Yeah, no, we were always finished early. But.
Yeah, but I was a stupid first year here in 1973, and all of a sudden all these guys are putting up these little plates of dessert in front of me. You want a dessert? Oh yeah, I'll have a dessert. This other bloke says, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "Oh, these guys are giving me these desserts." And he said, "You idiot!" He said, "We're going to be the last table finished unless you eat them." So here I am, about 6, 8, 10 little poles. I
can tell you a story about I'm Kevin Brennan anyway. Tell you about in the mess. So to get sweets, you had to eat all the other food. Okay? So they had these about 3 big teapots on the table. And all the food that they didn't want or didn't want to eat, so they get sweets used to go in the teapots regularly. And no one used to pick up on it, I don't know why. But that's why. And everyone used to get sweets.
Yeah, but the kids used to clear it all away. They knew about it, and they'd put the teapots upside down into the pigs bin. We had a half a 44-gallon drum with all the food scraps used to go in, and then we'd take them down to the piggery. So yeah, you're right. The kids would clear the table, they were in on it, and they just tip it into that.
Yep.
So what was the food like?
Food was good.
It was always better at home. Makes you appreciate how good it was at home.
But if you
never had
one of
T-bone
the
steaks or anything like that.
but if you're one of the slaughtermen though,
Yeah.
which I used to do a lot of the killing down there, like nothing was ever wasted, and some of the old cows were 18, 20 years old, and you'd cut them up and they were just blubber.
Yeah. So Harris, how old were you when you were doing all this?
Oh, what, 15?
15, yeah.
15,
we were
15, 16.
we were killing sheep and cows,
Yeah.
So we're doing all that sort of stuff.
And you got trained here to do that?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know about training, we just did it.
Yeah.
You said you just cut here, so you just cut there.
Yeah, well, I think it was a subject, like slaughtering,
Yeah.
so slaughter pigs,
Yeah.
sheep, cattle,
Yeah.
that was part of it.
All part of
There
it,
was
yeah.
shearing, there was fencing,
fencing,
ploughing.
engineering, which was learning to weld and fix things and all that sort of stuff.
Painting.
Woodwork, painting.
But all the ag, well, the majority of the kids were all from farm families, from the Western District, Gippsland, the Riverina, and coming from a little dairy farm in Terang to this environment, it was just such a eye-opening. There was a lot of people from all over the country.
I came from a migrant family. My dad had absolutely no idea about mechanics, or we never learned about painting or building or anything. I didn't realise it until today that we walked past the painter's shed where the painter stuff was. I learned how to paint here, and I've been painting ever since. Houses and things like that. And you understand how to paint in a straight line and rub everything back properly and all that sort of stuff. We learnt that here. Yeah. And pull engines apart. We learnt that here.
I can pull them. Haven't worked out how to put them back again.
Well, Jim, the old carpenter, he used to live in Sunbury, and if you got
Jim Morrison.
Yep. And if you got on well with Jim, he'd take you down home one day for morning tea, and it was proper home cooked cake and everything, and his wife, and you lapped it up. That was home cooking.
And she'd always work out someone she knew from your town. Whatever town you're from, she knew someone from that town.
Yeah, for sure.
She'd dig and dig until she found someone.
But we didn't have any OH&S, we didn't have any of those things. Goodness. We just did things. Like, kids were driving tractors and no one went for a quick Q&A thing and say, well, do you know how to drive a tractor? Show me how you know how to drive a tractor. And in the dairy, when we're doing the hammer milling, no one gave us a quick safety thing. Brother Hamilton said, "We'll go and do the hammer mill." So you went in and said, what do I do now?
Cut the bale of hay, shove it down
the chute. But no one said if you put your fingers in too far, you'll lose them. And, you need to use a stick to do this or any of that sort of stuff. We just did it. Yeah. No one got hurt. I don't know how.
I always reckon old Don Bosco was looking after us.
Yeah, for sure. Had to.
Yeah.